If you told me you haven't heard the name Scoot Henderson since he was selected 3rd overall in last year's draft, I'd honestly believe you. Scoot Henderson was a prospect that was projected to be the next face of the Trailblazers. I remember when they drafted him, and at the time they still had Damian Lillard, I would not stop talking about how I wanted the Portland Trailblazers to trade Dame. Just because I was so excited to watch Scoot Henderson, and I didn't want him to be in a shadow. I wanted him to be able to come out and be his full self. And while he wasn't really able to shine the way that many people like myself expected him to, at least at the start of the season, because man, things were rough. And that's kind of normal for a rookie, right? As soon as they join the league, they maybe can't find their shot, or they struggle to deal with the physicality, whatever it is. But there's one aspect about Scoot's game and his entire career and upbringing that made me think that he wouldn't have to deal with that. And that was the fact that he came up with the G League Ignite. And as this video ages, it might be a little bit hard to remember what the G League Ignite is because, well, they disbanded, I think, earlier this year. But in case you for some reason don't know what the G League Ignite is, let me give you a very quick breakdown. Basically, the NBA saw how much money the college scene was making and decided, hey, we need to get in on that. So they made their own team in the G League full of young rising star talent. They would give them contracts for a couple $100,000, considering at the time they weren't able to be paid through college. And so it was a good way to give these young players some veteran NBA level talent and also the NBA level training staff, coaches, etc. So no doubt there were a ton of questions, but myself, I thought that that was going to be something that would help him and his game. I thought that was going to help his transition. Going from the G League to the NBA maybe would have been easier than going from college to the NBA. And yeah, as expected, I was wrong because he did struggle to find his shot just like every other rookie. I mean, some of the shots that he was taking were just god awful. Even the shots that he would normally make in the G League, which is just driving to the basket or using his speed to get by players, he was struggling to do in the NBA, and that's because of the length difference. And so anytime you see him drive into the paint, it looks like he really does struggle with that. But there is one huge problem with Scoot Henderson's game, and it was actually a problem before he even got drafted, and that's his three-point shooting. I mean, oh my god, it is terrible to watch. And it's not even like he's just maybe hitting the rim on some of them or he's getting a little bit close to hitting it. No, he is full-blown airballing multiple shots a game. I actually have some of his stats here in the first 31 games because we're only really talking about the first half of the season here. He averaged 12.5 points, 5 assists, 3.1 rebounds, and also shot 36% from the field, and his three-point percentage was a staggering 30% from 3 on 4 attempts. And as much as I want to sit here and say that his numbers aren't that bad, like 12.5 points, 5 assists, and 3 rebounds, you have to think as well, he is on a team where he is the only guy that should be making any moves. I know you could talk about Shaedon Sharpe or, you know, whoever else on that team. I don't know if DeAndre Ayton, I'm pretty sure he was there at the beginning of the season. Like I said at the start of the video, Scoot Henderson was the guy that was expected to be the face of the franchise. So he should be getting the most shot attempts, the most whatever. He should be putting up at least 20 points a game. But I really do think that this is where a lot of people started to really tap out of Scoot Henderson, because you have to think as well, we're looking at battles between Victor Wembanyama and Chet Holmgren. Like, there is not many people out there thinking, oh, let me tune into the Trailblazers game tonight to watch Scoot, because he wasn't throwing down those energetic dunks that we saw in the G League. Overall, there wasn't enough to make people tap in. And honestly, I kind of feel bad because I was one of those people. At the start of the draft, I was so hyped up on him, but after seeing his performance in the first, you know, couple bits of his NBA career, I really did seem to tap out and say, you know what? I don't really care to watch Trailblazers games. Then again, I struggled to watch the Trailblazers even when they had Dame. But what if I told you all of Scoot Henderson's problems, everything that he's been going through, is actually very normal for a guard like him? I know every rookie can go through a slump at the beginning of the season, and that does happen to a lot of players, but specific guards built like Scoot Henderson with his play style have gone through the same exact thing. Take De'Aaron Fox, for example, the GOAT of my beloved Sacramento Kings. I feel like it's all right to compare the two, considering they're both kind of on the smaller end, and they're both quick and crafty with the ball. Like, they attack the paint, you know, everything like that. Well, a lot of you guys may have forgotten that De'Aaron Fox's rookie year was awful. Granted, he wasn't the 3rd overall pick, but I'm going to show you guys right now these stats up on the screen. We're talking Scoot Henderson's rookie year right next to De'Aaron Fox's rookie year. And as you can see, Fox averaged an entire 3 points less than Scoot Henderson. The 3-point percentage looks about the same, even though De'Aaron Fox had a bit less attempts. And so seeing that Fox also struggled from kind of the same exact things that Scoot is suffering from, like the length, like the speed, like the, you know, not really having a 3-point shot, I feel like a lot of people just need to give give Scoot more time, because if you look at De'Aaron Fox now, he's damn near a 30 point per game scorer. I know he only averages like 26 or something, but let me push my agenda. And all of the negative things aside, there are actually still some positives to Scoot's game, like his mid-range shot, which at times seems to be more comfortable for him than driving to the basket or settling for a wide open three. He likes that mid-range, and it works, so you know that that is going to be a threat for probably the rest of his career. And since we're on the topic of good things that he does, he still is able to use his speed and his agility and his youth to get by defenders, but only when it's really in transition. He does struggle when going up against set defenses, when they're really able to clog the paint and kind of put multiple guys on him, because they know he can't shoot outside. He might settle for the mid-range, but he's most likely going to drive to the basket, which is why the biggest thing that I hope Scoot Henderson does this offseason is work on his three-point game. You cannot be a 6'2" guard in the NBA anymore and not have a three-point game. If you look at Kyrie Irving, you know, he has the amazing handles, he gets in, does mid-range, gets to the basket, layups, whatever, but he still has a three-point shot. Even though it doesn't go in all the time, he still has a three-point shot. And also, going back to my De'Aaron Fox comparison, if you take a look at his career, or if you were to watch him throughout his career, you would notice that his three-point shot was what really put him over the edge as a star player. Because like I mentioned before, he was in that same exact scenario that Scoot was in, where all he could really do was drive to the basket, dunk, maybe go for a little mid-range shot. But his career really changed when he added that three-point shot, because defenders had to guard him differently. And it's kind of becoming this weird thing where we now just look at rookies in the NBA and expect them to be all NBA level players by year one. It doesn't help that not that long ago we got Luka Doncic coming into the game, breaking Oscar Robertson fucking levels of talent. And then just last year in the same exact draft, we get the alien and Victor Wembanyama. So I really hope that people understand that that's not really normal. Players aren't supposed to come out and automatically be all NBA, all defense, all MVP, whatever the fuck talent. They're not supposed to be like that. If they are, awesome, congratulations, round of applause, but that's not usually how it goes. So for Scoot Henderson, don't write him off yet, because all it takes is maybe 2, 3, maybe even 4 years. Who knows how long his development will take, but eventually I have no doubt and no lack of faith that he will be able to turn into the player that we all thought he would be able to be on draft night. Whether that means he's the 30-point scorer or second or third option on a contending team, I don't know. We'll only see. That's the fun part of this league, and watching these players grow and evolve, is seeing where they end up. But just know I am not selling my Scoot Henderson stock. I'm keeping that shit for the next couple years at least. That being said, hope you guys all enjoyed. Be sure to like and subscribe. I know this video was a little bit different because we have had a couple days off since the last NBA game. The NBA finals are actually probably tomorrow when you're watching this. I am also sorry for the lack of consistency. I haven't uploaded in like 4 or 5 days at this point. I was in LA for a little bit. I actually did make a video while I was there, so if you want to see that, go click it up on the screen. But anyways, I'm done yapping. I'll see you guys all in the next one. Later.